to the C, to the H, to the L-E-E-E, just Chloe. Hey everyone, welcome back to another Read Aloud video. I'm sorry if you guys are getting bored of the Read Aloud videos, but I got some amazing book to read to you guys today. So this is called Nate the Great and the Missing Birthday Snake. Will this case slither away? Dun dun dun! So I never read this book before, so I'm reading it for the very first time with you guys. So this is called The World's Greatest Detective by Andrew Sharmat and Marjorie Winman Sharmat. Illustrated by Jody Wheeler. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Anyway, let's get started. Like and subscribe, and okay. Here we go. So if you guys can see, my light says let's read. Hashtag let's read. So Nate the Great and the Missing Birthday Snake. Chapter 1. An Invitation. My name is Nate the Great. I am a detective. I have a dog named Sludge. He's a detective too. It was morning. We were in the kitchen. I was eating pancakes. Sludge was chewing on a bone. We heard scratching noises at the door. So my videos, I focus on little kids and just kids in general. So if this book is a little bit too young for you, I suggest you click off and go away. Only if you want to. I'm really happy you guys are watching my videos, but only if this book is a little bit too young for you, then you don't have to watch this video. Whoa, I just realized how dirty my desk is. Anyway, okay. It sounded like a cat scratching. I opened the door. I saw Rosamond with her cat Super Hex. As always, Rosamond looked strange. So did Super Hex. Rosamond was pulling a wagon. Her other cats, Big Hex, Little Hex, and Plain Hex, all end with Hex, were riding inside. The wagon looked like a birthday cake. Rosamond looked proud. Aren't you going to ask why my cats are in a wagon that looks like a birthday cake? Asked Rosamond. I, Nate the Great, was not going to ask. Because then Rosamond would tell me. She told me anyway. Sunday is my cousin Elizabeth's birthday. She's visiting. I'm having a party for her in my backyard. Here is your invitation. I looked at the invitation. There was no writing on it, just scratch marks. Did one of your cats write the invitation? I asked. Little Hex did. Super Hex tried, but he kept ripping up the papers with his big claws. That was more than I, Nate the Great, wanted to know. So you'll come? Rosamond asked. When is the party? I said. Rosamond pointed to the invitation. It says right here, Sunday at 2 o'clock. I looked at the invitation. It didn't say anything. Unless you knew how to read cat scratch marks. Who knows how to read cat scratch marks? Let me know down below. Does your cousin have 4 cats like you? I asked. She has no cats, Rosamond said. I was glad about that. She has 4 snakes, she said. Snakes? Ball pythons, actually. Pythons? I, Nate the Great, suddenly remembered that I had so many things to do on Sunday. Many things. I would not have time to attend a birthday party full of dangerous, slimy snakes. Who likes snakes? Not me. But I could not explain this to Rosamond. She and her cats were gone. They had more invitations to deliver. Chapter 2. Raining Pythons. Sunday was warm and cloudy. It looked like it might rain. I hoped that Rosamond would cancel her party. I had no cases to solve. That meant I had no excuses. Unless the party was rained out, I would have to go. The phone rang. It was Rosamond. I have great news. The party's going on as planned. Rain or shine, I don't want you to worry. I, Nate the Great, was worried about a lot of things. I was worried about that the pythons would be large. I was worried that they might have big fans and be out of their cages. I was worried that they would be hungry and not for a birthday cake. The snakes will be fine, right? I was not worried about that the party would be canceled. I wrote a note to my mother. Wow, can you guys read cursive? Sludge and I walked to Rosamond's house. It was raining hard now. Maybe the party would be canceled after all. We entered Rosamond's backyard. Finally, some good news. There was no sign of a party. I saw only Rosamond and someone I suspected was her cousin Elizabeth, and 3 really big, scary-looking snakes in 3 different cages. I'm glad you and Sludge could make it to my cousin's party, said Rosamond. Hey, I thought there was 4 snakes. Why is there only 3? Elizabeth, meet Nate the Great. Elizabeth looked like Rosamond. She had the same long hair, but red. They had on the same dress, but hers was white. Elizabeth also had the same strange look on her face. Call me Lizzie, she said. Nate the Great, please meet my pet snakes. I, Nate the Great, did not want to meet Lizzie's pet snakes. Sludge took a step back. He did not want to meet Lizzie's snakes. This is Super Chomp, Lizzie said, then pointed to a large snake in a metal cage. Then there's Big Chomp, Little Chomp, and Plain Chomp, I said. That's a strange name for a snake, Lizzie said. Wow, all her names end with Chomp. And the beginning of those words is Super Chomp, Big Chomp, Little Chomp, just like Rosamond's cats. She pulled out a photograph. It was a picture of a snake riding on top of a car. The car was big. The snake was bigger. His name is Ultra Giant Goleth Chomp. My God. I call him UGG Chomp for short, Lizzie said. I looked at UGG Chomp. He wasn't big. He was ultra big. His teeth weren't large. They were ultra large. And he looked hungry. Isn't he beautiful, Lizzie asked. Beautiful was not the word I had in mind. I changed the subject. What is he doing on top of a car? I asked. It's his favorite place, Lizzie said. He loves to ride around town. So you're gonna let your pet snake just scare everyone away just like this, and look, this dog is even running away, and the birds. That's not good. Even the mailman or woman is running away. I did not want to know the answer to my next question. I asked it anyway. Where is UGG Chomp now? We can't find him, Lizzie said. When it started to rain, we moved the party indoors. We brought all the food inside. Then we came back to check on the snakes. The 3 smaller snakes were in their cages. Was UGG Chomp in his cage too? I asked. He doesn't have a cage, Lizzie said. We couldn't find one big enough. I'm not surprised, I said. We're looking for UGG Chomp now, Rosamond said. Can you help us? I hope no one stole him, Lizzie said. He's so sweet. Who wouldn't want a wonderful pet like UGG Chomp? What do you mean you can't find him? How could you just lose your ginormous snake like that, let it wandering off? I looked at the photograph again. I knew one thing. Nobody would ever steal Lizzie's snake. But I might find clues if I talked to the party guests. I need to go inside and talk to your guests, I said. I stepped toward the back door. I noticed a thin layer of sugar on the ground. It was everywhere. Messy party, I thought. I jumped over the sugar. I was not going to be a messy detective. The party guests were in the kitchen. I saw Claude, Pip, and Oliver. There was a table with a birthday cake, cookies, chips, and a nearly empty bowl of sugar, and a large jug of water. Clud was it Cloud? Not Cloud, Clud, whatever, was steering a pitcher of lemonade. Annie was playing with her dog, Fang. Now, her dog's name is Fang. There's Fang. Pip and Oliver were playing a board game. Not I said. I'm not trying to find Lizzie's pet snake. No. I'm trying to find Lizzie's pet snake. We're not trying to find Lizzie's snake, Pip said. As long as that monster is outside, it's safe inside. He pointed to a corner. Rosamond's 4 cats were huddled together. Even they are afraid to be outside, he said. When was the last time anyone saw UGG Chomp, I asked. Right before the rain started, Annie said. He was in the back corner of the yard hissing at Fang. Fang was barking at him. Then Fang lunged. He knocked over a pitcher and spilled water all over his new t-shirt. Fang's not wearing a t-shirt, I said. Rosamond took it off. She put it in the dryer in the basement, Annie said. Look, there's Fang. Fang is a pretty big dog. The rain started, and we brought everything inside, Claude said. I brought it in the sugar, Oliver said. Well, some of it. I tripped on the top step and dropped a pile of it on the porch. I was the last person to come in. Chapter 3. UGG Chomp, where are you? There didn't seem to be any clues. I would have to wait. I would go outside. I would listen for the sound of someone screaming. That would tell me where Lizzie's snake was. But that was not a good way to solve the case. I had to find UGG Chomp before UGG Chomp found someone else. Then I remembered Lizzie's car. It was UGG Chomp's favorite place. Maybe he'd gone looking for it. I went out to the street. There was no sign of Lizzie's car. Lizzie's mother must have dropped her and her snakes off at the party and then driven away, but UGG Chomp would not know that the car was gone. Maybe he'd come back to the street to look for it? Then what? If he'd returned to the yard, someone would have seen him. If he'd slithered out onto the street, we would have heard screaming and police sirens by now. I, Nate the Great, decided that the street was not the best place to look for clues. I went back to the yard. I walked over to the corner of the yard where UGG Chomp had last been seen. There were several large holes. UGG Chomp had been busy digging. I, Nate the Great, knew one thing. I was not going to look in any of the holes. Did you find him? Lizzie asked. No, I said. Lizzie noticed the holes too. He could be in any of one of these, she said. UGG Chomp, where are you? She called. I, Nate the Great, did not know much about snakes, but I knew that calling a snake's name would definitely not work. I walked around the yard. Behind the yard was a large field with tall grass. It was the perfect place for a snake to hide. We need to search the field, I said. Snakes love tall grass. Look at all those holes. Chapter 4, Snake Eyes. Sludge and I went out to the field. The other party guests followed. It was still raining. The field was big. The grass was tall. The field was filled with buggy things, with wings, flies, fleas, bees, mosquitoes, gongs. What is this? I don't know. Wasps, hornets, and a big flying thing that looked like a small bird. Ew, all those bugs. I hate bugs. Look, Fang is there too, and Sludge. I, Nate the Great, was hoping that the big flying thing that looked like a bird was a bird. I also hoped we would find UGG Chomp quickly. We searched and searched. We found many, many things. Old toys, tires, books, candy wrappers, and orange peels. But we did not find UGG Chomp. Ouch! Rosamond yelled. I think a mosquito bit me. I think I was bit by a flea, Pip said. But I was just bit by something that looked like a small bird, Oliver said. The only thing we've done out here is feed the insects, I said. Then Claude shouted from across the field. I did it! I solved the case! I ran to where I heard Claude's voice. The other party guests followed me. The insects followed the party guests. Claude pointed to a swampy stream. There were branches in the river. There was also mud and leaves. And hiding inside the leaves, 2 shiny eyes. Chapter 5, How Not to Scare a Snake. Claude, you did it, Lizzie shouted. You're a detective. You are Claude the Great. Not really, Claude said. I was looking for $1 I'd lost. I thought it fell into the water. When I looked down, I saw 2 eyes looking up at me. Claude was also always losing things, but this time he had found something. He had found Lizzie's snake. The snake is buried under the leaves and mud, I said. We need to get it out. Maybe we could get him to come out if we had some kind of bait. And he said, pancakes, I said. Snakes don't eat pancakes, Lizzie said. No, I said, but I do. They help me think. It's hard to be a detective when you're hungry. I have an idea, Annie said. I'll take Fang to the stream. He'll bark at UGG Chomp and scare him out of the water. I turned to Lizzie. When was the last time UGG Chomp ate? I asked. Yesterday, she said. UGG Chomp will be hungry, I said. Fang might become his lunch or snack, Lizzie said. UGG Chomp really loves to eat. Don't eat a dog. Please. Please don't eat Fang. I walked toward the stream. I looked at the water. I saw 2 black eyes. I saw fur. I saw fur around the 2 black eyes. Then I saw 2 ears. They were also covered in fur. We had not found Lizzie's snake. I, Nate the Great, saw that you are not looking at a snake. A snake would have scales around its eyes. This animal has fur and ears. Snakes don't have fur or ears, Lizzie said. But beavers do, I said. We are looking at a beaver. Well, a beaver. I thought a beaver was in the water. So this is the dead end, Rosamond said. No, it's not, Claude said. I just found my dollar in the mud. We need to get back inside, I said. But how are we going to find my snake, Lizzie asked. He could be anywhere by now. Not anywhere, I said. He would go where a snake would go. And we need to find out where that is. We need to talk to someone who knows about snakes. Who would that be, Lizzie asked. A pet store. That's who. Crazy Craig's Peculiar Pets. They specialize in strange pets, and they sell snakes. I'll take Sludge with me. How are we ever gonna find UGG Chomp? Chapter 6. Call me crazy. Yeah, call me crazy. Sludge and I walked in the rain to Crazy Craig's... Oh God, I can never say this. Peculiar... Sorry if I say it wrong. Pets. I opened the front door. I looked around. I saw all sorts of pets. Armadillos, skunks, hedgehogs, anteaters, and of course, snakes. There were also many insects, including that one that looked like a small bird. Sludge whimpered and ran toward the door. I followed him. Come on, Sludge, I said. We have a case to solve. An odd-looking man walked over. He was wearing a crazy t-shirt with a picture of Snake with giant fangs. He also had wild, crazy-looking hair. Lots of wild, crazy-looking hair. And a long beard. And this is what he looks like. We were in the right place. You must be Crazy Cray, I said. Yes, he said, but you can call me Crazy. I'd like to talk to you about snakes, I said. And I'd like to talk to you about snakes, Crazy Craig said. But I'd really like to talk to you about tarantulas. We're having a huge sale on spiders, Sludge hid behind my legs. Maybe next time, I said. Right now I'm trying to find a missing ball python. He vanished during a birthday party. Snakes disappear a lot, Crazy Craig said. Snakes have to keep their bodies warm. They'll look for rugs, blankets, and furnaces. Any place that's warm. Thank you, I said. You've given us a good clue. Glad to help, Crazy Craig said. Now, how about those tarantulas? They make wonderful gifts. He pointed to a large, hairy spider. His name is Alfred, and he's on sale. If you buy him today, I'll throw in his friend Henrietta. I thought about Lizzie and her strange snakes. A tarantula might be a good present for her. But I, Nate the Great, was on a case. Chapter 7. Snake in the Class. Sludge and I rushed back to Rosamond's house. It was pouring rain. Everyone was inside. Snakes love warm places, I announced. We must find someplace warm. I opened the back door and looked at the yard. I looked down at the porch. The sugar was still here. Then I remembered Oliver said that he had dropped a pile of sugar on the porch. Just a giant mess spread out all over the place. Did anyone try to clean up the pile of sugar? I asked. No, Lizzie said. I, Nate the Great, say to all of you that UGG Chomp has slithered his way into the house. But we would have seen him, Claude said. Not if he slithered down to the basement, I said. The basement has warm places where a snake might go, Rosamond said. There's a furnace, a water heater, blankets, and a mattress. And mattresses. We all went down to the basement. Maybe you can sniff UGG Chomp out, I said to Sludge. Sludge whimpered. We searched the basement. We looked under blankets. We looked in boxes. We looked near the furnace and the water heater. They looked everywhere. Oliver picked up a corner of the rug. Not under here, he said. You didn't need to lift the rug, Lizzie said. If he were under it, we would see a big bulge. I, Nate the Great, knew that UGG Chomp could not be in the basement. He was too big to hide down here, and yet he was hiding. We were playing hide and seek with the giant snake. The giant snake was winning. UGG Chomp must be really smart, I said. He's brilliant, Lizzie said, and he's never even gone to school. I thought about UGG Chomp in a classroom filled with children. Let me guess, I said. No school would take him. We tried them all, Lizzie said. Well, he's smart enough to stay hidden, I said, and we're running out of places to look. Where is he? Then Sludge went to the dryer. It was... Oh, wait a second. Okay, so remember how Fang got his t-shirt dirty, and UGG Chomp was chasing after Fang, and then Rosamond took, is it Rosamond or Rosamond? I don't know, took his t-shirt off while UGG Chomp was chasing after Fang. He could be in the dryer. Then Sludge went to the dryer. It was busy drying Fang's t-shirt. UGG Chomp is not in the dryer, Rosamond said. Why not? Oliver asked. Snakes like heat. The dryer is hot. Because the snake can't open the dryer door, let himself in, close the door, and turn on the heat, Rosamond said. I didn't think about that, Oliver said. Neither did Sludge, Lizzie said. I guess he's not much of a detective. Sludge growled. Sludge is a great detective, I said. But Rosamond was right. UGG Chomp could not have gone inside the dryer on his own. What was Sludge trying to tell me? I looked at the dryer. Then I walked around and looked behind it. No snake. Then I realized that Sludge had solved the case. How did he solve the case? Chapter 8, Hugs and Hisses. I went back up the basement stairs. I walked through the kitchen and opened the door to the backyard. Sugar covered much of the porch, but there was no sugar by the door. UGG Chomp had never reached the door. I looked at to the side of the porch. I saw a large bush next to the house. Behind the bush, I heard a noise coming from inside the house. It was the sound of the dryer vent blowing out hot air from the dryer in the basement. I, Nate the Great, knew where UGG Chomp had gone. I walked over and looked behind the bush. There was UGG Chomp. I looked at him. Oh my God, we finally found him. He hissed at me. The case was solved. It was my job to find him, and it was not my job. God. It was not my job to move him. A good detective knows his limits. I went back to inside the house. The case is solved, I said. Come here, I'll show you where Ultra Giant Goliath Chomp is. Everyone followed me inside. You found him, Lizzie exclaimed. My beautiful little baby. Baby? I said. Oh yes, Lizzie said. Someday he'll be twice as big as he is now. I can hardly wait, I said. Thank you so much, Nate the Great, Lizzie said. Don't thank me. Thanks, Sludge. Look how ginormous he is. Look how, scary UGG Chomp is. He solved the case. Well, thank you, Sludge, Lizzie said. Can you two stay for dinner? I looked at UGG Chomp. He looked very hungry, and he was smiling, too. I'd love to, I said, but I have to get back to Crazy Craig's before they close. They're having a great sale on spiders. The end. I hope you guys enjoyed this video of reading Nate the Great and the Missing Birthday Snake. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everyone!